The Cavs have won again. They are on an impressive run to start this West Coast trip. They beat Utah, that was at home, and then they blew out the Denver Nuggets in Denver. They went to Golden State, they blew them out, and now they await to play the Los Angeles Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back, which this is going to be tough, right? Beating the Lakers tomorrow on New Year's Eve after a back-to-back. Are the Lakers coming off a back-to-back? The Lakers are not coming off a back-to-back, I believe. So it's going to be a really tough game for the Cavaliers to try to pull out because also the travel from San Francisco to LA is longer than you think. I think it's like a 4-hour flight or something like that. It's not a short flight. It's not short travel. So definitely going to be a difficult one, right? The Lakers coming off a few days rest. The Cavs on the second night of a back-to-back. They're going to get LeBron's best effort in that game if he plays. It's definitely going to be a tough one to get. But I think the Cavs can do it. The Cavs are 28-4. And before I get into anything about this game specifically, I want to kind of go on a bit of an aside about two things. One, I really hope that if you are a Cavs fan, you are doing everything you can to just straight up enjoy what the Cavs are giving you right now. Because it's easy to get caught up once your team is on a run like this into expectations and hopes about the playoffs. But like straight up, just enjoy what you're witnessing. Because what you are witnessing is a team putting together a run that will be very difficult for any other Cavaliers team to ever replicate. They are 28-4. Look, even if they have a team with this same core that ends up winning a championship, or if this team wins a championship and they come back as the NBA champs, it is very unlikely they will ever repeat this start. These are starts that even the greatest cores aren't able to replicate on a regular basis. Like, this is a tremendous run the Cavs have been on throughout the 2024 portion of the NBA season. They're going to enter the new year with at least 28 wins, maybe 29 if they beat the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow. Just enjoy that, right? Just enjoy that. Just like really appreciate it. Appreciate what you're watching. Because this is the only time you're going to be able to see this specific core blossom in real time the way we're seeing it. We're seeing Evan Mobley blossom. We're seeing Jared Allen add new things to his game. We're seeing Darius Garland blossom, Donovan Mitchell, guys off the bench. What you get to see right now, what you're witnessing if you're a Cavs fan, is rare. It's precious. It should be cherished. So make sure you're enjoying this. First and foremost. The second thing that I want to talk about before I get into this game is there's been a lot of talk online about the NBA's like problems with ratings. And a lot of people attribute it to a lot of different things. I'm not really too interested in the specifics of that that conversation because it usually just ends up being like about people's personal grievances with the NBA. But the one thing I have noticed while covering this Cavs team is how little awareness there is of the fact that the Cavs are a 28-4 basketball team. And also on the flip side of this, because it's not just the Cavs this is happening to, albeit on a smaller scale. The Oklahoma City Thunder this is going down with, right? Where the Oklahoma City Thunder only have 5 losses. What the NBA has on their hands is a ESPN game coming up where the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team with an above 800 win percentage, is going up against the Cavs, a team with an above 800 win percentage, on national TV. This is the 1 seed in the East and a 1 seed in the West. And these two teams are facing off. And you're not seeing the NBA machine promote this in the way that I think they should. And the reason that is because the NBA has decided a long time ago, for whatever reason, that only certain brands matter and only certain players on certain runs matter, right? Like the NBA, more so than any other league, has been poisoned by ring culture. And the fact is that the NBA can't get its own audience to care about such an amazing matchup because too many people are discussing if the Cavs are a legit championship contender or if the Thunders are a legit championship contender because both those teams haven't won yet. They let ring culture dominate the discourse and they leaned into ring culture at certain points during the LeBron era because it was profitable for them in the short term. And now they're reaping what they sow because they can't get people excited about a tremendous basketball team in the Cleveland Cavaliers because everybody's too worried about ring culture arguments with them. They can't get anybody excited about the Oklahoma City Thunder because you can't have a ring culture argument about it, right? I know the NFL is not a perfect league, far from perfect, especially when it comes to player conduct management. But the one thing the NFL has done at a very high level is make sure that no matter who is at the top of the league, you care about it, right? If the Browns had the best record in the NFL, you would know. They would be pushing the machine towards Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb, and those would be the biggest stars in football that year, right? If the Bengals have the best record in the NFL, you're gonna be sick of Joe Burrow, right? When the Chiefs have the best record in the NFL, I see people already sick of Patrick Mahomes, right? But that's the NFL machine doing what's good. They don't care who the best record is in the NFL. They're going to push that story. When it was the Lions, they was pushing the Lions down our throat. All that Dan Campbell stuff and how cool Dan Campbell is and how he's built this whole thing, and they focused on it. They do a better job managing their 32 brands than the NBA does managing their 30. The NFL has managed to put their teams in a place to where it don't matter if it's the Tennessee Titans, bro. If the Tennessee Titans are winning a bunch of games, we going to know who's on the Tennessee Titans. We going to know what's going on with the Tennessee Titans. Now, part of that is because we just care about football a little bit more in this country. But that's partly because the NFL has done a great job making you care about the brands. Now, football, the way the sport is structured itself, does help that, but it's not impossible to do with the NBA. Yes, is it a more face-forward league? Yes, is it a league where the names do matter? Sure. But there's a way to make the names matter while also making sure that the brands matter, while also making sure that you don't lean so far into the names mattering that you can only sell a handful of names. Because you can't sell Donovan Mitchell because Donovan Mitchell's not in the rings conversation, right? Like right now, they can only sell people on legacy and rings, and that's what they think is the only thing that sells. And they're scared of anything that doesn't have that attached to it. And that leaves them in a place where they're having a hard time building new stars because they're not letting anybody else become stars. I'm going to pull a really odd reference out of nowhere, and if you watch wrestling in the 2010s, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, there's probably a couple of video essays you should watch, right? But in the 2010s, I remember this vividly. People used to be furious about how the WWE pushed John Cena down your throat because that felt like the only person that they had confidence as a star was John Cena. And because they were pushing John Cena down your throat, you felt like they weren't letting other people become stars in the same way that John Cena was. That's what the NBA has going on, except for John Cena. It's like the old guard, like everybody who was popular in like 2015. Like those are the people they can't let go of. And anybody who's had the peak of their game happen after the pandemic, it's just not going to be pushed as much. It's kind of crazy to me, like how they operate. And it just reminds me of how WWE was like not letting anybody grow because they were so obsessed with John Cena. This is the NBA's John Cena moment, right? Like their Fruity Pebbles John Cena moment. And they need to pivot to figure out how to get people more interested. I think they should move to a similar model that NFL has where they limit how many national TV games teams can get, and they make sure that there are minimums that of national TV games that teams get, because that shit kind of matters, right? Like fan bases get excited when they get to be on national TV, even when their team is sorry. So I think there's a lot there they need to adjust, because there should be more discussion about not just the Cavs, but some of the teams that are having really good seasons. But it feels like all we talk about like is the New York Knicks, the Lakers, same old stuff, right? But that's just my little rant here. Cavs played a really good one here in Golden State. They really dominated this game in the second and third quarter. First quarter, they were all right. Fourth quarter, they were up by like 20 at that point. So it wasn't really like they were pushing. But the second and third quarters where they really pushed stuff. Second quarter, the Warriors, I would say more so than the Cavs defense, was like hurting them. Like, I know the Warriors only scored 11 points, and we can make that the Cavs held the Warriors to 11 points. But if you look at how the Warriors held themselves under 11 points, you would know that, like, they missed a lot of shots, dude. Like, sometimes not even contested shots in that second quarter. I thought third quarter they played a lot better defense, and then the offense just went off the roof in the third quarter, and the Warriors never recovered once they got cavalanched here. What I think is stand out about it, Darius Garland, I thought he played really, really well here. I thought Jared Allen only put up 12 points, 9 rebounds, got into foul trouble, but I thought he played a really good game. I thought he got some really key rebounds in this one. Evan Mobley was more impressive on the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball. Kind of a night to forget for Evan Mobley offensively. But this is what this Cavs team is. They are 28-4. They are one of the best teams in the NBA. They are who you think they are. You don't get to 28-4 by accident. You don't get to 28-4 by being a fluke. I know people are going to bring up the Jeff Teague Atlanta Hawks team. Let me look them up, right? Everybody brings up like the Atlanta Hawks team that won 60 games. They weren't what the Cavs are right now, right? If you go to December 30 of 2014 when they ended the year, or at least the year before the new year, they were 23-8, which is like where the Celtics are, right? They had a 742 win percentage. The Cavs are like a whole 100 above that. They're like at 842. This team is good, like good at a level that usually means you're going to the Eastern Conference Finals when you have a record this good. This is who they are. They are this good. Which, again, goes back to my whole thing about how the NBA is just fumbling this opportunity. Right now, you have two teams that are showing you, as history indicates, they are likely to be in their conference finals, right? Like, the Thunder are likely to be in the Western Conference Finals, and the Cavs are likely to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Why isn't there an effort now to make sure that you're invested in those brands once it comes time for the Eastern and Western Conference Finals? I mean, come on. It can't be that difficult, right? You have to look at the Cavs right now and go, hey, strong shot, they're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's talk about them. Hey, NBA machine, we need to talk about the Cavs and Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley's development more. We need to get people excited about the potential of this, right? But no, they're not doing that. It's so wild to me. And if they get a Thunder Cavs finals this year, they're going to be caught so flat-footed, and it's so ridiculous, man, because like how because it's not LeBron versus the Celtics. Like, come on, like this is not super difficult stuff to figure out. It just takes trusting other brands other than the legacy things that you have been selling for the last 20 years. Like, it doesn't even mean you got to abandon all the LeBron and Bronny storylines. You don't got to abandon any of that. You just got to pick up some new shit. Push towards some other stuff. Tell people, hey, this is what's hot right now. Like, again, I hate to bring up the NFL again with this whole point. And I'll get back to talking like I have been in the rest of this video. But if the NFL had the best record in the AFC versus the best record in the NFC, they would spend so much time pumping that up, man. They would spend so much time pumping that up and making sure that you know that this is going to be one of the biggest matchups of the season, that this could be a Super Bowl preview. And then after the game, they're going to spend the time hyping up those two teams because they know that there's a chance that they're going to make the conference championship game, which you're going to want to sell. Like, just steal their homework, bro. Like, just do what they do. Like, it's not. It really shouldn't be this hard. But anyways, back to my thoughts about the game. They're just that good, man. Like, I know people are looking for chinks in the armor, but usually when a team has the record the Cavs have, people understand that, yeah, there might be some things wrong with the team. Maybe they don't have a wing. Maybe they don't have that. But if it were really that big of a problem, they wouldn't be 28-4. Like, we can nitpick and try to put the microscope up on them and point out every scratch and mole that the Cleveland Cavaliers have. But if those scratches and moles were that important, the Cavs would not be 28-4. It's just that simple, right? There is not a ton. Like, look, that same year, right, that everybody's pointing out, oh my God, this Cavs team is like that Hawks team. No, actually, their win-loss record is much closer to what the Warriors were by the end of the year, which was 25-5. They had a win percentage of .833. That's about where the Cavs are. Actually, the Cavs are actually higher than that. That Warriors team, correct me if I'm wrong, went on to win the championship that year. So that is what the Cavs team has resembled so far this season, a 67-win Warriors team. That is what their closest counterpart is. That is the rarefied air that they have played themselves into. And it's hilarious to see people not give them the respect they deserve. But it's up to the Cavs to smack everybody in the face with that respect come time for the playoffs. Right? Because people going to sleep on you. Stephen A. not going to pick you to win if you're going up against a recognizable brand. We already know this, dog. If the Cavs get to the second round with the New York Knicks, he's going to get the New York Knicks will win this series. The Cavs have he's going to do the whole thing. And, you know, if the Cavs win, he's going to act like it was because of an injury and then pick the Celtics. So we know that we're going to get disrespected, man. We know that nobody's going to want us to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Nobody's going to want us to get to the NBA Finals. Nobody but the people going to be rooting for us, right? The establishment that's on these hot take shows, all the executives, they don't want the Cavs to be in this spot because that's not one of the faces or brands that they have invested in. They have ignored this brand since LeBron has left. So they're going to do their best to ignore it, but it's the Cavs' job to not only roll this record into what they can finish this season off as, which is be historic at the end of the day, but also to smack some people in the face and make them show us that respect, right? Like, I'm going to need that respect at the end of the day because I'm tired of hearing about the damn 60-win Atlanta Hawks when they're clearly a better team than the damn 60-win Atlanta. If you want to talk about the Cavs and teams that have had win streaks like them, talk about them in the context that's proper. 2014 Warriors, that's what they're on right now. 2014-15 Warriors that won the chip. That nobody expected to win the chip because that's what this team feels like. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.